The DK crew is finally here. Nintendo's Donkey Kong series has told one of the most inspiring multi-generational family stories since Star Wars, or like Gilmore Girls. You were just too busy collecting banana coins to notice. Hey everyone, this is Marcus with the Leaderboard, and what better way to explore an ape lineage than with a tree? We're gonna give you a breakdown of the full Kong clan, excluding the ones from the Donkey Kong Country television series because now for the record, Kong is the species name, not a surname, so characters like Dread Kong or Funky Kong aren't necessarily related to Donkey Kong. That said, the Kong crew isn't limited to blood relatives anyway, so we're gonna expand on the guest Kongs too. Donkey Kong's family. Great-great-great-grandpa Kong. The family tree officially kicks off with Donkey Kong's unnamed ancestor. They used to own an antique mirror before it ended up in Bazaar's bare hands, but Cranky's such a hoarder, it's a shock he ever lost track of it in the first place. But you know, the mirror never lies. Professor Donkey Cranky Kong Sr. That's all we know about the ancestor Kong, but we're all familiar with the top banana of the Kong clan, Cranky. He's a mumbling, grumbling old coot these days, but if you look back on his life, it's really no wonder he turned out so cranky. See, when he was younger, Cranky was taken prisoner by a brash, mustachioed man named Mario and his girlfriend Pauline. One day, Donkey the First got fed up, so he busted free. He kidnapped Pauline to get back at his abusive master, but Mario chased him down, beat him, and caged him up again. And you, yes you, helped him do it. Little did Mario know that Cranky had a son. Yes, he had a son, and you locked him up, you monster. Donkey Kong Jr. managed to free his father and give Mario the boot, allowing the father-son duo to carry on living their lives with a clean slate. The world was Cranky's jungle, so he holed up in a lush greenhouse. That's sorta like a jungle, right? Well, Stanley the Bugman was none too pleased to discover this big ape riling up all the insects, so Stan smoked him out. After one more final defeat at Mario's gloved hands, more about that later, Cranky relocated to the distant Donkey Kong Island. Unlike Bowser, Cranky knew when to take a hint and call it quits. As Cranky got older and crankier, he settled down at his cabin and began giving free advice and hoarding random junk for his monkey museum. He even bought himself a racing ostrich. Cranky was living his best embittered retirement life, but it all took a dark turn when his beloved wife Wrinkly Kong passed away. A guy can only take so much, so Cranky went a little ape. He started running mad scientific experiments, brewing magical potions out of a sketchy lab, and using the other Kongs as his guinea pigs. It took time, but somehow, the darkness of Cranky's soul gave way to light. He opened his own business so he could sell his goods, not just hoard them. And when the Snowmads pillaged Donkey Kong Island, he was right there on the front lines with DK and the crew. It took almost 40 years, but Cranky Kong is finally recovering from all the psychological damage Mario gave him. The one thing I can't figure out is, how does Cranky look like this, but Mario still looks like this? I guess it's all the stress. Wrinkly Kong. Cranky can be a grouch, but Donkey Kong's grandmother is an absolute treasure. Wrinkly devoted her life to education, teaching at Kong College for a generous 2 banana coins per lesson. And Wrinkly didn't just mentor the DK crew, she also taught the Kremlings. Because education's for everyone. But Wrinkly was getting on in years, and she was having a hard time keeping up with the naughty crocodiles. Eventually, she had to retire, but the old gal had one last adventure left in her. She retreated to the lower northern Cremisphere, determined to become one with her inner self. The banana birds made for good company on her sabbatical, so she developed a passion for collecting them. Her training complete, she spent her final days in a cave surrounded by her beloved birds. Occasionally, Dixie and Kitty Kong would pay her a visit, but only to save their game and run away. On the bright side, Wrinkly Kong's ghost came back from beyond the grave to give hints and stuff. See, I told you this was just like Star Wars. She continued to join in all the Donkey Kong Island festivities, from the Jungle Jam to the Barrel Blast tournaments. But I'm still haunted by how she went out, alone in a cave. Like, the Kongs always asked her for advice, but did any of them ever ask her how she was doing? Man, I feel like I should call my grandma. You know, she's been a lot less talkative ever since, we buried her. Donkey Kong Jr. The banana fell pretty far from the tree when it came to Junior. Unlike his grumpy father, Donkey Kong II wasn't a chest-pounding, barrel-throwing menace. He enjoyed more sophisticated pursuits, such as competitive mathematics, tennis, and sensible leotards. And yet, as Cranky Kong and Mario's feud intensified, Junior couldn't help but be swept into it. When his dad kidnapped Pauline, he pitched in by warding off Mario with poisonous mushrooms. The plumber persevered, chasing them through the city, to the forest, to the desert, and all the way up Donkey Kong's tower. After one final showdown, Mario emerged triumphant, but they all reached a truce after that. See? Hey, they even snapped a selfie in front of the scenic mountaintops. Now, I don't want to spread rumors. This isn't Keeping Up with the Kongdashians, but Donkey Kong Jr. hasn't been around much since that day. Seriously, no one's seen him since the Mario Star tournament in Mario Tennis. Heck, he even had a son of his own that he abandoned. Instead, Cranky Kong stepped up to raise the boy. Where'd you go, Junior? Well, at least his kid turned out all right. Donkey Kong III. He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. Donkey Kong III is the main ape of the DK crew, but more rebellious than his father, and less of a curmudgeon than Cranky. Since DK's dad was out of the picture, Cranky raised him to continue the family legacy of kidnapping human women, but he's actually the one who got captured. See, when DK was a baby, the evil Magikoopa Kamek sent his cronies to kidnap infants from around the globe in search of the Star Children. DK was taken from his treetop home, but thanks to an ambush by a disgruntled stork, never made it to Kamek. He fell from the sky and landed on top of a brave Yoshi. With the help of some other babies, the two defeated the Koopa King Bowser and returned all the babies to their homes. So, DK was born to be a hero. When he grew up, he had no interest in continuing with his grandfather's monkey business. Instead, he became the powerful defender of Donkey Kong Island, devoting his time to bodybuilding, bongo drumming, and becoming a hero. In recognition of his training, he was awarded the Red Necktie, the ultimate honor of the Kong clan. Through the years, DK overcame everything from K. Rool and the Kremling crew, the Tiki Tak tribe, and even some outcast fellow Kongs. When he met Xananab from the planet Platian, he learned that King K. Rool stole their crystal bananas. With the universe in peril, Donkey Kong traversed through space to defeat the Crocodile Commander and save their entire species. Forget Donkey Kong Country, it's Donkey Kong Galaxy now. Even with all that under his pelt, his greatest victory of all is his camaraderie with Mario. The two set aside their familial grudges long ago, and now they regularly square up in friendly competitions. But the road to friendship hasn't been without its blue shells. Unfortunately, Donkey Kong still inherited that whole human abduction gene from Cranky, so he and Mario have gotten into some spats over that may have resulted in DK kidnapping Pauline, like once or twice. Or like, okay, listen, mistakes happen. He's only simian after all. In the end, Donkey Kong may not be immune to the family's legacy, but he redefined the Kongs as a clan of heroes. But he wasn't alone. At one point, DK got captured by K. Rool, so he needed his nephew to come bail him out, Diddy Kong. Yes, Diddy is Donkey Kong's nephew, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That means he has an absentee father and DK has a long-lost brother. No wonder those two became so close. When Diddy's not enjoying a banana milkshake and some R&R with his big buddy, he's an acclaimed race car driver and a master peanut popgun marksman. But he idolizes his uncle, so he always wanted to be a hero just like him. And yet, when DK finally entrusted him to look over their banana stockpile, Diddy was more terrified than honored. The King of Swing was supposed to relieve his little buddy at midnight, but as Diddy learned, no one's heroes are perfect. Donkey Kong overslept, leaving the banana hoard wide open for the Kremlin criminals. And so, Diddy was left to help retrieve their yellow treasure trove. Since then, Diddy Kong has proven that he can take on conquests all by himself. Well, by himself plus Dixie. The power couple sank King K. Rool's battleships and rescued Donkey Kong from captivity. So Diddy isn't the next Donkey Kong, he's the first Diddy Kong. Thank you very much. Like I said before, Kong isn't a surname. And I'm bringing it up because I don't want you to freak out when I tell you Dixie Kong is Diddy Kong's girlfriend, okay? So Dixie Kong isn't part of the classic Donkey Kong lineage. In fact, she's got her own separate family tree, Dixie's family, Dixie Kong. She may have started as just Diddy's girlfriend, but she's carved out a place in the DK crew all on her own. Although Donkey and Diddy Kong might not admit it. They didn't even take her seriously as a hero for a long time. They didn't think she could even play bongos. But Dixie is a jack of all trades with a go-getter attitude. Her ponytail helicopter twirl always made it easier to land on platforms, so she was my go-to in Donkey Kong Country too. Besides, she's even had to bail Donkey and Diddy out of a bad situation. When the boys ventured off to the northern hemisphere without her, they got themselves turned into chaos brain food. She had to go save them, stop chaos and Baron K. Rulenstein, and free the Banana Bird Queen, all while watching her baby cousin, Kitty Kong. Hey, isn't that what family's all about? Kitty Kong. But hey, it's not like Kitty Kong was helpless. He's basically a sack of fur and muscle. He's only 3 years old, so his main hobbies are chewing on tires and smashing rocks. But getting into trouble is in his blood. He's just lucky that Funky Kong opened a new rental store in the northern hemisphere and happened to bring Kitty Kong along with him. When Dixie went looking for Donkey and Diddy on her would-be solo mission, Funky pawned Kitty off on her to tag along. Kitty doesn't have helicopter hair or anything, but he can bounce on water and throw Dixie high into the sky. Wait, hang on. Why was Kitty Kong with Funky Kong in the first place? Seriously, where are this baby's parents? Tiny Kong. Dixie's little sister is one cool Kong. She's smart as a whip and manages the whole financial ecosystem of Donkey Kong Island. That's really no small task considering everyone and their grandma has a business. When she was young, Tiny wanted to be a supermodel like Candy Kong, but she was worried that she was too short, so she stuck to fashion design instead. Miraculously, after Tiny helped destroy K. Rool's Blast-O-Matic in DK64, she had a growth spurt. She looks more like Candy now, so I guess she can always rekindle her modeling career. She still has the same feisty spirit, joining the other Kongs for racing, sports, and barrel blasting. Chunky Kong. Chunky is a gentle giant who's deceivingly strong for his age. He's Tiny and Dixie's cousin and Kitty Kong's big brother. Like very big. He can lift boulders over his head and squash things with his massive fists. He's a force to be reckoned with, but if you're not a Kremling, then don't worry. Chunky's actually a gentle, sensitive guy. Still, he was born to wrestle. I mean, the kid's personal hero is Kong Hogan. Chunky delivered the final blow to King K. Rool in their fateful boxing match aboard the King Cruiser 2, so he might be on the road to wearing the coveted red necktie someday. But maybe he should start by learning how to jump more than a few inches off the ground. Lanky Kong. He has no style, he has no grace, and I have no clue how Lanky is related to the other Kongs. Cranky says that he's a distant cousin, so maybe he's related to Donkey Kong? But the German manual of DK64 says he's Chunky's uncle once removed? This is so confusing. Well, what we do know is that he's from the faraway land of Yutan Island, where other estranged Kongs live. I'm guessing their society is a little more buttoned up and conservative, and that Lanky's goofiness didn't gel with them. Instead of sitting around reading Shakespeare, Lanky immigrated over to Donkey Kong Island to join his family in the DK crew. While Lanky is more into jokes and handstands than being a hero, he did have to throw on his adventuring overalls to help save DK Island from K. Rool's Blast-O-Matic. Since then, he's taken a back seat from the whole hero gig, but still enjoys some family barrel blasting. Alright, these next Kongs aren't exactly blood related, but they're close enough to be called family. Other Kongs. New Funky mode. Funky Kong is Donkey's groovy surfer friend, and though they look alike, you won't catch him running around the jungle. He's more likely to be renting out airplanes or hovercrafts. This ape has a very diverse portfolio. Funky's like the friend who tried to rope you into that pyramid scheme with an email chain, but we still love him through and through. Funky normally rocks a laid-back attitude, but like Cranky Kong, he had a minor crisis right after Wrinkly Kong's death. He ditched the shades and surfboard in favor of military camouflage and heavy weapons trafficking. It was a very hard time for the family. Thankfully, the armory phase passed, and now Funky comes through for all DK sporting tournaments. Recently, he had a go at jungle journeying himself, and wow, talk about busting a move. Everything Donkey Kong can do, Funky Kong can do better. Seriously, this dude deserves his own verse in the DK rap. Candy Kong. Candy is much more than a pretty face. She owns a dance studio, a music shop, and has a disciplined workout schedule. She and Donkey Kong will probably get married one day when she decides that he's ready for it. Maybe when he figures out that yes, yes, yes means yes, yes, yes. In the meantime, she's always challenging him to do better on his adventures, and he's always keeping her shops in business. See, unlike his damsel-stealing grandpa, Donkey Kong actually values a mutual support system. Swanky Kong. Legendary circus showman P.T. Barnum once said, "The show business has all phases and grades of dignity, from the exhibition of a monkey to the exposition of that highest art." Well, Barnum obviously never met Swanky Kong. He's a monkey and high art. He's also an honorary member of the DK crew. The greatest show monkey on Donkey Kong Island is always blinged out for his bonanzas. Whether it's trivia shows or carnivals, he's the host with the most and invites the whole Kong family to partake. So tell me, do you want to go? So yeah, there are a lot of Kongs, and like I said, I'm not even touching the ones from the cartoon. Shoutouts to Bluster Kong though. I didn't have time for them, but all Kongs and players are welcome here. I've been Marcus, and if you like this video, then you should really help me out and subscribe to the leaderboard. Please.